There have been way too many OLED displays released recently, and now we have another 48-inch OLED display from BenQ, and it's targeting both gamers and content creators looking for both accurate color and fast refresh rates. BenQ has entered the chat with their version called the EX480UZ, and it boasts OLED technology at 4K resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, 0 to 1 millisecond gray to gray response time, DCI P3 color at 98%, HDR10, which means you can get 1000 nits of peak brightness, an anti-glare coating, it weighs 42.6 pounds, DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.1, two of those, USB-C with 90 watts of power delivery, the USB-B upstream and the USB 3.2 downstream, built-in KVM so you can use one keyboard and one mouse to control two computers, a calibrated Delta E less than 2, and AMD FreeSync and NVIDIA G-Sync. It also has built-in speakers with a 10-watt subwoofer. So what makes this display behind me different and better than the rest? Well, that's what I've been looking into for the last several days, and I'm doing it just for you. So be sure to like my video today and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell to get notified when I drop new content. It's my passion to bring other content creators like you, the ever-hungry tech consumer, the information you need to make the best decision on what you're going to purchase for your creating and your fun. And just so you know, BenQ did not send this to me. I purchased this on my own so I could share my honest opinions with you. Before we get too far, it occurred to me some of you may not even know much about OLED display technology and why it's so much better. I just wanted to spend a little time talking to you about it. So OLED stands for Organic Light Emitting Diodes, and the screen technology offers several benefits, including thin and flexible designs. OLED displays can be extremely thin, allowing for unique and innovative product designs. They have better color reproduction. OLEDs can produce deep blacks, vibrant colors, leading to more lifelike images with better contrast and color accuracy. OLED displays have the fastest refresh rates in the industry, which means fast-moving images can be displayed without blurring. They have the wider viewing angles that you need, unlike IPS displays, which also have wide viewing angles, but these have even wider viewing angles. They have no backlight, which means they can be viewed from these extreme angles without losing color accuracy or brightness. They also use less power than traditional LCD displays, especially when displaying dark or black images. And they have the fastest pixel response times in the industry, which makes them ideal for fast-paced action games and other high-speed applications. So let's talk about the industrial design of this BenQ display. So you can see on the top portion of the display, it's super thin with that OLED technology built in. The bottom portion is obviously bigger, like we've seen in other displays. And I'm okay with that because I know the power supply is built into that. And I really love this matte gray kind of space gray look that's going on here with this high quality plastic shroud. The left side has all your I/O. The right side has your power cable input, and the front is really nice as well to look at. It's got this subtle red touch on the base. It also has front-facing speakers, which has a built-in 10-watt subwoofer. So if you're one of those people that like built-in speakers in your display, it's going to be nice to actually know you have that built in here. And like I said, overall, I love the design aesthetic of this. I love that it's not black. It's kind of this space gray, and it's got this subtle yet humble branding on the front, making you appreciate the design. And I love that it matches my BenQ Screen Bar Plus, which it should, it's BenQ. And it also has these cool customizable LED strips on the back, which is kind of a nice touch. And moving to the screen, I'm really loving the color accuracy of this display. Like I said, it has 98% of DCI-P3, so you're not going to miss out on color gamut, which is great news for all you photographers, videographers, graphic designers. If you don't know, BenQ is actually known for this. They have specialized in displays designed for photographers and people that need the absolute best color accuracy out of the box. So all of you content creators and designers, this display is for you. It appears to be a 10-bit panel, which means you will see more color and gradients with smoother transitions. Wider color gamuts like in DCI-P3 panels are capable of displaying a wider range of colors than traditional displays, making images and videos look more vibrant and lifelike. The improved color accuracy of these DCI-P3 displays are calibrated to accurately represent the colors used in film and video production, ensuring that what you see on the display is closely matching the original content intended. And it has an enhanced viewing experience with wider color gamuts and improved color accuracy. DCI-P3 displays like this one offer a more immersive and enjoyable viewing experience for movies, videos, and other content. And that consistent color representation of DCI-P3, it's widely adopted as the standard. So displays that support this standard ensure that color representation is consistent across different devices and environments. And so the future compatibility of this display is going to be awesome for film, video. As other industries continue to adopt DCI-P3, having a display like this will ensure compatibility with future content and prevent the need to upgrade in the future. So with all the work stuff aside, what about gaming and fun? Well, I'm pleased to say that this display offers a fast 120 Hz refresh rate combined with 0.1 millisecond gray-to-gray response, which makes gaming super fluid, especially combined with NVIDIA G-Sync and AMD FreeSync, which is fully supported on this display. The colors are nice and rich, which is expected with OLED, and at the correct viewing distance, you won't notice pixelation. This monitor is an absolute joy to game on. It does take a bit more time to get this display kind of dialed in because of the settings out of the box, but once you get that dialed in, especially on the HDR side of things, you're going to be able to utilize HDR10. This display should theoretically approach 1000 nits of brightness. And another big feature of this display is the built-in KVM, which is also featured in the Aorus 48-inch OLED, which I also reviewed. And this BenQ handles this feature very well with input switching. And if you don't know, KVM allows you to use one keyboard and one mouse connected to this monitor to control two different computing silos like a Mac and a PC, which helps with multitasking, keeping your work and your play separate, and it also makes you more productive, but also have fun at the end of a long day of content creating. And I'm thankful to know that there's another option out there for those of us that love having this solution. The OSD is very easy to navigate and figure out using the included remote, or you can use the 3 buttons below on the right side to control everything. And yes, I did say 3 buttons. There's one button for the inputs, one for the main OSD, and one for the power. And there's also a small button on the front right side for the HDRi feature. You get many options and features that are specific to gaming, but also color space specific, allowing you to, for example, lock in that P3 color. You get plenty of options for picture-in-picture when using multiple sources, and you can even lock in smaller aspect ratios if you want to mimic a smaller monitor for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know why, since you just bought a 40-inch display, but it's there. And another sweet feature that gamers will love is that HDRi mode, which gives you a light tuner. And this allows you to bring the shadows up in gameplay so you can see what's lurking in the shadows. You can tweak this as much as you like, and depending on the game, sometimes you'll want to turn this up or down. And I love pretty much everything about this monitor, but there are a few things that were a struggle for me, and one is the matte screen. I'm torn since the entire point of OLED is the inky blacks and extreme contrast ratio. So when you add a matte finish on top of it, it does help with reflections, but it also means you lose a touch of contrast and detail. And the Aorus F048U, for example, which I also reviewed, does not have this extreme matte coating, but it depends on what you prefer. For some, this is a deal breaker. For some odd reason, the matte coating that BenQ is using here created a slight color shift when viewing like white and at an extreme angle, at least on my sample, which is kind of frustrating since the entire point of OLED is about consistent color, no matter the viewing angle. And that only occurs with white for some reason. And don't get me wrong, I still think this is a remarkable display, and for graphic design and photography, I have been loving using this for accurate color, but it is something worth noting about that wide viewing angle. Another issue was the brightness equalizer, which I mentioned earlier, and what also BenQ calls brightness intelligence. There's two separate features here. They're both on by default, so my pro tip is to turn both off. Turn them off, because it causes your screen to be overly dark. Turning these off allow for a monitor that looks a lot more like you expect, allowing you to achieve the maximum brightness and contrast of the panel. So that brightness equalizer, it's actually used to reduce the maximum brightness to balance overall brightness as the display size changes. So setting this to 0 disables it. Otherwise, your images just look flat and dark, which I don't think any of us like. So in other words, it just took a bit more time to get this to be where I think it should be versus like the Aorus, for example. That Aorus display out of the box was spot on. But on the BenQ, once you just change a couple of these things, it's awesome. And one last issue I thought I'd bring up, which is more Mac specific, and I think it's really a flaw of Mac OS over anything else, is to be sure to disable variable refresh rate. Otherwise, you might get flickering issues over USB-C. I had the same issue with the Aorus 48-inch OLED. And the sucky part is you have to go into the display settings each time to disable it when you wake the Mac from sleep. On the positive side, the USB-C output from this display has 90 watts of power delivery, which is great for all you MacBook owners. So what do you guys think? Overall, I feel like this is a well thought out and designed display, and you can tell BenQ worked hard and put a lot of passion and time, especially in these specific features for both gamers and creators. It's all built into one amazing display, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to get to them. And thanks again for stopping by and watching all the way to the very end of this video, and I will see all of you on my next video.